Have you ever felt like your dog understands more than they let on? Most people assume dogs simply react to what happens around them, but the reality is often much more interesting. Our canine companions are constantly gathering information about us. They observe our habits, study our reactions, and quietly learn what kind of person we are. What's fascinating is that dogs don't evaluate every human in the same way. The people they care about most often receive the most attention. If your dog has formed a strong bond with you, there's a good chance they've already been running a few subtle trust checks without you even noticing. The first one is surprisingly easy to miss. The relaxed look test. Imagine your dog resting comfortably across the room. You're occupied with work, watching television, or scrolling through your phone. Suddenly, you notice them looking in your direction. This isn't the intense stare dogs use when waiting for food. Instead, their eyes appear soft and relaxed, their faces loose, their expression calm, and sometimes they even blink slowly. Many canine behavior specialists believe these moments are signs of emotional comfort. In the animal world, direct eye contact can often signal conflict or challenge. When a dog chooses to look at you with a relaxed expression instead, they're showing an unusual level of trust. But there's another side to it. Your dog is also observing how you respond. Do you acknowledge them calmly? Do you return a gentle expression? Or do you suddenly lock eyes and stare intensely? Dogs tend to feel safest around people whose body language remains predictable and relaxed. A calm response reassures them that opening up emotionally is a safe choice. The personal space test. The second trust check happens when your dog enters your space without fully committing to interaction. Perhaps they jump onto the couch and sit nearby without touching you. Maybe they walk over and lie down close to your chair. They're near enough to connect, but not necessarily asking for attention. This is where many owners accidentally become too eager. The dog is often waiting to see whether you'll respect their pace. Will you allow them to decide what happens next? Or will you immediately reach out and force interaction? Research on canine social behavior suggests that dogs often form stronger bonds with people who allow them to initiate contact. Giving them control over distance can help them feel secure and respected. When you remain calm and allow them to choose the next step, you're sending a powerful message: you can approach me on your own terms. For many dogs, that's exactly the reassurance they're looking for. But the next test is impossible to miss because it happens every time you return home. And for some dogs, it may be the most important trust check of all. Why does your dog become so excited when you walk through the front door? The answer might reveal one of the biggest relationship tests they ever give you. Think about what happens when you come home after being away for several hours. Before you've even put down your keys, your dog is already reacting. Some dogs sprint to the door, others wiggle their entire body with excitement. A few grab a toy and proudly parade around the room as if they've won a championship. Most people see this as simple excitement, but for dogs, reunions can carry a deeper meaning. The welcome home evaluation. Dogs are social animals that rely heavily on relationships. Being separated from important members of their social group and then reconnecting later is a meaningful event. That's why many dogs develop elaborate greeting routines. Your dog may sniff you, circle around you, bring you a favorite toy, or vocalize an excitement. While these behaviors are adorable, they also help them gather information. They're looking for clues. Are you happy to see them? Do you acknowledge their presence? Does your energy feel familiar and reassuring? A warm greeting helps reinforce the bond you've built together. It tells your dog that your connection remains strong even after time apart. Ignoring them completely isn't necessarily harmful, but consistently dismissing their attempts to reconnect can leave some dogs feeling uncertain. The best greetings are often simple. A calm voice, gentle acknowledgement, or brief interaction is usually enough to communicate that you're happy to see them. The communication response test. Dogs don't rely only on body language. Many use sounds to communicate as well. A soft whine, a low grumble, a huff, or even a dramatic sigh can all serve different purposes depending on the situation. Sometimes they're asking for something specific. Other times they're simply checking whether you're paying attention. When your dog makes a sound towards you, they're often watching your reaction carefully, not necessarily because they need something urgent, but because your response provides information. Do you respond calmly? Do you sound irritated? Do you acknowledge them at all? Studies have shown that dogs are remarkably skilled at interpreting human vocal tones. They often respond more strongly to emotional delivery than to the actual words being spoken. That means a gentle response can communicate safety and reliability even if you're busy. On the other hand, consistently responding with frustration may teach a dog that communication isn't always welcomed. Over time, many dogs adjust their behavior based on those experiences. The more predictable and emotionally consistent you are, the easier it becomes for your dog to understand and trust you. And speaking of trust, the next test involves something many dogs consider incredibly valuable: their favorite possessions. What does it really mean when your dog walks over carrying their most treasured toy? The answer isn't what most owners think. Many dog owners have experienced this confusing moment. Your dog approaches proudly carrying a favorite toy. They stand right in front of you, making eye contact as if they're presenting a special gift. Naturally, you reach for it. And instantly, they pull away. If you've ever wondered why dogs do this, you're not alone. The valued possession test. At first glance, it seems like a game, but in many cases, your dog isn't necessarily inviting you to take the item. Instead, they may simply be sharing it with you. Think of it this way: when someone shows off something they're proud of, they don't always expect you to grab it from their hands. Dogs can behave similarly. By displaying a favorite toy, chew, or treasured object, they're often gauging how you handle things that matter to them. Do you respect their possession? Do you immediately try to take control of it? Or do you calmly acknowledge it without creating tension? Dogs generally feel safest around people who consistently respect boundaries around resources. That doesn't mean you should never take a toy. It simply means that trust grows when interactions remain predictable and respectful. The belly exposure test. Perhaps the most misunderstood dog behavior of all is rolling onto the back. Many people automatically assume an exposed belly means "please rub my stomach." Sometimes that's true, but not always. Body language matters. A relaxed dog may roll over with loose muscles, soft eyes, and a gently wagging tail. In that case, they're often inviting interaction. However, a nervous dog can display a very different version of the same posture. Their body may appear tense, their ears may flatten, their tail may tuck, they might avoid eye contact or repeatedly lick their lips. In these situations, the dog isn't necessarily requesting touch. Instead, they may be communicating uncertainty or trying to reduce social tension. The difference can be subtle, which is why observation is so important. Dogs communicate with their entire body, not just a single gesture. When owners learn to recognize these differences, they become much better at responding appropriately. And from a dog's perspective, being understood is one of the strongest foundations of trust. Because trust isn't built through commands, treats, or training alone. It's built through thousands of small interactions, where your dog learns that you'll listen when they communicate. But what do all these behaviors reveal about your relationship as a whole? That's where the final piece of the puzzle comes in. These individual behaviors are fascinating, but together they reveal something even more important about how your dog truly sees you. When people think about trust, they often imagine dramatic moments. But for dogs, trust is usually built through everyday experiences. It's formed during quiet glances across the room. It's strengthened when personal space is respected. It grows when greetings feel warm and predictable. And it deepens every time a dog communicates and feels understood. Why consistency matters. Dogs thrive on patterns. Unlike humans, they don't analyze relationships through long conversations. Instead, they evaluate reliability through repeated actions. Every interaction becomes part of a larger picture. When you respond calmly during stressful situations, your dog notices. When you respect their boundaries, they notice. When you acknowledge their attempts to connect, they notice that too. Over time, these experiences create expectations. A dog who consistently experiences patience and understanding often becomes more confident and emotionally secure. The real secret behind canine trust. One of the biggest misconceptions about dogs is that trust is earned through dominance. Modern behavioral science suggests something different. The strongest relationships are usually built through predictability, communication, and mutual understanding. Dogs don't need perfection. They don't expect you to interpret every signal correctly. What matters most is that you're paying attention and trying to understand them. Even when mistakes happen, a strong bond can continue to grow if interactions remain positive and respectful. Reading the bigger picture. No single behavior can fully explain what a dog is thinking. A soft gaze doesn't automatically mean complete trust. A belly exposure doesn't always mean vulnerability. Context matters. The key is looking for patterns rather than isolated moments. The more consistently your dog chooses to stay near you, communicate with you, relax around you, and seek you out during important moments, the stronger the relationship is likely to be. In the end, these aren't really tests designed to trick you. They're opportunities. Opportunities for your dog to learn whether you're a source of comfort, safety, and understanding. And every day, through hundreds of tiny interactions, they're quietly deciding the answer. But here's the question. Which of these behaviors does your own dog show most often? You might be surprised by what that one habit reveals about the way they truly feel about you.